Arousal, stress, and anxiety. What is arousal, stress, and anxiety? Arousal is general physical and psychological activity. Anxiety is a negative emotional state with feelings of worry, nervousness, and apprehension that is associated with the activation of the body. Stress is an imbalance between that demands that someone feels and his or her feelings of capability to meet that demands, when failure of these demands has important consequences. Arousal can affect performance in many ways. There are several theories as to how stress affects performance, and these are summarized in the following. Number one is drive theory. Drive theory states that the more arousal and anxiety an individual experiences, the higher their performance will be. As with many early sports psychology theories, drive theory is very basic in its approach and has subsequently been discredited, with the knowledge that even the best performers have a tendency to experience deterioration in performance at the highest level of arousal. Number two is inverted U hypothesis or theory. This theory posits that there is a medium amount of arousal and anxiety that causes one to perform higher. Too little anxiety or arousal and too much anxiety or arousal will cause performance to be poorer. The inverted U theory proposes that sporting performance improves as arousal levels increase, but that there is a threshold point. Any increase in arousal beyond the threshold point will worsen performance. At low arousal levels, performance quality is low. Individual zones of optimal functioning. This theory takes into account that people have different levels of anxiety and arousal that are unique in making them perform all their best. Some people perform at their best with low anxiety, some with a medium amount, and others with a high amount. The amount of anxiety or arousal that an individual requires to perform their best is based on individual characteristics. Why does arousal influence performance? You may be wondering what it is exactly about arousal that is affecting performance. Arousal increases muscle tension and affects coordination. Too much tension can create difficulties, as well it affects attention. However, attention can become too narrow with too much arousal and can make one pay attention to too much in their environment when there is too little arousal. Here are the signs of arousal and anxiety. 1. Cold clammy hands, constant need to urinate, profuse sweating, negative self-talk, dazed look in eyes, ill feeling, headache, dry mouth, difficulty sleeping, increased muscle tension, butterflies in stomach, inability to concentrate, better performance in situation when you are not being evaluated. How to decrease arousal level in sport. If you are about to take part in an important game or track, make it all too easy to let the moment get to you and let your arousal level soar, which reduces your chances of success. It is important in this situation that you take steps to control that level and stay in a relaxed but ready state. There are two aspects to arousal. Number one is cognitive or mental, and somatic, physical, and you have to address both. Here are some methods you can practice to reduce each of these states of anxiety. Number one, cognitive. Meditation allows an athlete to center themselves and clear the anxiety that can threaten to reduce their performance levels. The ability to remain calm and focused is an important one to master. Number two is the positive self-talk. The inner dialogue we all have can be used to reduce arousal levels quite dramatically by calming us and reducing stress. Tell yourself what you know you need to hear and dismiss anxious thoughts. Number three is imagery. Imagining serene life situation can significantly decrease arousal levels. Number two is somatic. Slow deep breathing from the diaphragm is a proven method for reducing anxiety and stress in many situations. Progressive relaxation. Tensing and relaxing muscles, one by one training muscles to be relaxed and lower the tendency to feel thought and anxiety. Take each muscle or muscles group one at a time. Tense for 5 seconds and then relax. Methodically go through your body and it will soon feel loose and stress-free. Have fun and enjoy yourself. Smile. The reason we take part in sports at all has its root in enjoyment, and it is helpful to remember that fact. How to increase arousal level for sport. Clearly, a certain amount of arousal is vital if we are to perform to the best of our abilities. At a competition, that is often not a problem, but in more run-of-the-mile situation. Training, for example, or at the gym, we must take steps to up our arousal level if we are to get as much out of the session as we should. Again, there are several methods we can use to raise our arousal level. Number one is visualization, a very important skill for today's athletes, allowing the mind to prepare for the competition ahead. Visualize positive outcomes. Practice your skills in your head and see yourself succeeding. Number two is positive self-talk. As in this decreasing arousal level, your internal conversation can also drive up arousal level. Repeating positive statement and believing those statements will allow your mind to ready the body for peak performance. Listening to music can also prepare your mind and body to perform both during training and in preparation just before an event. Warm up properly. This will prepare your body for the exertions ahead. Get your heart rate up and your muscle warm and stretched. Act energized. Never forget that what the mind tells the body is paramount. Tell it that it is full of energy and it will become so. Keep moving and practicing the skills that you will need for your chosen activity. Last is have a routine. Going through a standardized preparation before a game, a race, or a training session will tell your body that it should ready itself for the task ahead. To implement all these methods effectively, you need to be actively training the mind as well as the body. This means you need to be practicing how you raise and reduce your arousal level long before you're in a situation where you need to use them. This is often easier said than done, and while there has been a lot of research on the effects of arousal level on athletes, there are few resources for helping you train the mind and manage your mental wellness. That's what we do, Restoic. We give athletes the opportunity to train the mind long before they're faced with a challenge on the field, track, or court. So we have to practice our mind as well as our body on how to be strong during our activity.